Hello, and welcome to the Miami Showband Peace Center online, a truth and reconciliation platform project. Music is a universal language that transcends all barriers. It is an unassailable platform where truth and love are safe. And during our darkest days, it gave us leave to clap our hands and to dance together. Music is a bridge over troubled waters. Truth and Reconciliation Platform, or TaRP as it's commonly called, invited artists to dedicate a song or a piece of music to victims of the conflict on the island of Ireland, frequently referred to as the Troubles, or to an event or a memory that for them holds a particular poignancy. What follows is their response to our invitation. Hello, and we're delighted. I'm actually delighted to welcome my old friend, Tom Jennings Creaven, to the program today. You're very, very welcome, Tom. We go back a long way, don't we?
It's a pleasure, Steve, to join you today. And we go back a long, long way. And I've heard people say far longer than I care to remember or am able to remember. But it goes back a long way. And we've always had a relationship that I've valued very highly.
Well, Tom, when I first went to the UK, I heard about you. Your reputation certainly preceded you as a musician, but you're much more than that. And of course, we'll talk a little bit about your music. You won every country award that there was at the time. I remember the Wembley, was it the Wembley Awards or country?
Yeah, and we appeared at Wembley twice in 1980 and 84, and we got loads and loads of club awards, and that was a thrill. I think 83 the band was probably flying, and there was a massive country circuit back in those days, and we loved it. But we played all kinds of stuff. I was a bass player, not in your league now, nowhere near it, but I played bass quite happily with the stuff that we were playing. As the Undertones once said, we played what we knew and we knew what we played.
You still keep very much in touch with a lot of your music friends, don't you? A lot of the people. Unfortunately, you lost your great friend there a few years ago, Paul Tennant.
Yes.
Who would have been very closely aligned to the Beatles, wasn't he?
But Paul Tennant, I used to call him Beatle Paul, because he came from Liverpool. He went to school with George Harrison. He was in the very first band signed by the Beatles, signed to Apple Publishing, a band called Focal Point. And there's a great book he wrote about his exploits, about how he got a record deal from Paul McCartney, chased him into Hyde Park, and all these kind of adventures.
Well, Tom, you and I could talk about music forever. In fact, the first time we ever... We do. The first time we ever got together was in your studio. You had a lovely studio quite close. I remember it was quite close to where Sky TV is studios now, isn't it? Up
yes,
West London.
I mean, Steve, I remember it very well. And I was delighted to welcome you to the studio. And I was also very delighted to hand it over to you to just do what you wished. And such was the esteem that I held you in. It was a thrill for us to have you and the boys you were working with at the time in the studio. And I loved the idea of letting you produce in my studio.
Numbers.
The 40 years anyway.
Which brings me nicely to one of the people that I was most delighted and certainly most honored to produce. Perhaps some of his last recordings was a man called Henry McCullough, who I had been a big fan of Henry's since I was a kid, since he was playing in the show bands. He used to visit our home in Carrick-on-Shore down in South Tipperary. He used to visit with a band called Gene and the Gents. and he was always really, really nice. And I got to know him over the years, and I ended up producing him in a beautiful studio over in the west of Ireland, which brings us to the backdrop that's behind you, Tom, because as I say, we could talk about music all day and all night, and still, just as I used to talk to Henry would ring me up at 11 o'clock, and we'd finish talking at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we'd be talking about the music and all of his adventures. I was in awe of him, and I got to play with him as well as producing him, so it was a big thrill. But people might find it strange. We're not going to talk that much about music today. We're going to talk about engines and buses and paintwork and all of these things that perhaps, and it is the fact that you've been through, I mean, to try to describe what you've done over the years. You've been an inventor, a musician, you've been a songwriter, you still are all of these great things. Everything from cryptocurrency and all of these things that you're involved in. But your passion today is restoring the 1972 Wings tour bus with the famous number WNO481. And people will probably notice that you and I are both wearing the Busketeer honorary badges, which I'm thrilled to wear here. Tell me about this, the Wings tour bus, Tom.
Well, when in 1970, when the Beatles broke up, basically the whole world went into mourning at the loss of John, Paul, George and Ringo out of their lives, because they were in the papers almost every single day. So they went their separate ways, and everybody was speculating, would they get back together? Is that what get back meant, that they were going to get back at some point? So everybody was, everybody's wondering. John went off, had his adventures, and Paul got himself an old English double-decker open-top bus and took it around Europe, doing 25 concerts in 25 cities in 9 countries across Europe. And the bus racked up 12,072, as near as we can figure it, certainly, and about 7,500 miles over a couple of months. Now, the normal thing with a superstar on tour is to have all the big Mercedes and the Volvos and, and all the super brand new vehicles and all the rest of it to get you up and down the road. Paul decided on an old English double-decker bus, 1953 Bristol KSW, ECW, open-top double-decker, and WNO 481. And then they decided that it was going to be painted, and they wanted to do a psychedelic peace and love. We come in peace. We come to play, we come to have fun, join us. That was the message emanating from the bus even before it arrived. You could see it coming down the road. And the idea was to just make people smile when they saw it, and to draw them in, knowing that they were going to be entertained, they were going to have fun, and it was going to be love and peace all the way. So, and that was the message of the bus. In the art, it is. Its top speed was an unimpressively chugging 38 miles an hour, and coming up to 50 years of this association with Paul McCartney in 2022 is the 50th anniversary of that wonderful tour.
48 years later, the bus has gone through, it's been in the background, and it wasn't in great condition when you actually found it. Did you go looking for the bus, or what? How did you come to get it? Because it's about to burst into life again, isn't it? But how did you find the bus?
Well, I actually went looking for a guitar, a vintage guitar, and ended up buying a vintage bus. And it's a thrill to own it. It's a thrill to be with it, and it's a thrill to just what I see with the bus is I see its provenance. I see everything that I typed out. I see its history. I can see the videos of it going along the road with Paul, Linda, the children, the band, all having the most wonderful time, and the children as well. Wonderful. So that's what the bus means to me, and it means peace and love. We come in.
Oh, it's a fascinating story, but it's got a bit of road to travel yet, hasn't it? It's got to
Yes.
It's got to be done up. You're well, that's well underway, but it's a very expensive a project, isn't it? I mean, can you tell us how much you think it'll eventually cost to put it back as you would like to see it on the road?
Well, restoration companies, they are highly specialized. They're brilliant craftsmen, so you don't buy that cheap. It's possible. I've had, different quotes, 60,000, 100,000, 130,000, to do, everything that I would kind of like to do for the bus.
You've been a great supporter of truth, peace, reconciliation, and you've been a great supporter of our organization, Truth and Reconciliation Platform. And it's a bit like the Good Friday Agreement. Once you get it, that's not the end, is it? I mean, you've now got to make it do something, and you've got to work it. And I know that you've been inundated with calls from all sorts of transport museums and places like that, and events. But one of the things we've spoken about is that the bus will be used to carry forward, even if it's 38 miles an hour or whatever it is, this amazing message of healing and reconciliation, because the world needs healing today. If it ever needed, it needs healing today. And so when it's done up and when it's finished and ready to go on the road, you very, very kindly offered to do a tour with TaRP, Truth and Reconciliation Platform, to bring forward on the bus this amazing healing message, this beautiful message, and that will probably, it means that you'll come over to Ireland, and that we will probably go on the continent with it to bring this healing message around the world. And even last night when I spoke to some people in America, they're very keen to get it over to America, as you know. It's an awful lot of interest from people. Henry McCullough's brother Victor has been in touch. Roy Keane, not to be confused with Roy Keane, the footballer, but Roy Keane, that played with Van Morrison, is Van's friend, and has been in touch. And all of these people, they all want to get up on that upper deck and do a gig. Isn't that just? It's just. I mean, I'll probably climb those stairs myself if you'll come along and we play a few songs.
Well, Steve, you'll go up the stairs before me.
well, we're both the same. We're the same age, Tom.
That would be just lovely. I mean, to have those wonderful musicians that I hold in just high esteem, and coming together for the very, very best of reasons is a wonderful thing. And for the bus to fulfill, I believe the bus has a mission, and that mission is to spread Paul McCartney's message that he carried across Europe of peace and love, and let's all just be mates, and let's just all enjoy the music. And of course, the other thought that came into my mind was the Miami Showband, and how theirs was a beautiful message of, we just like each other as people, we like each other as musicians, and we're just going to play and we're going to have fun. And the audiences are going to love it. And they did, and they turned out in droves. So this is basically what I want to carry with the bus, which I would love to see, and I want to hear all these great musicians, and I want to video them, and I want selfies, and you know, just everything that can be done, and just let's go mad with the publicity, and let the bus really, really mean something. And this bus is one of the ultimate survivors. It's been saved 3 times. Plucky, indomitable bus, and we're meeting and plucky, indomitable people who, in spite of everything, they remain cheerful and trying to get on with life and trying to lift themselves above, and you know, every sort of make every day like a weekend where it's just fun. I'm ready to go. You know, they'll be singing, they'll be dancing. Steve, you said to me in the very beginning, I'll always remember this, because you were one of the people I turned to for advice. And you said to me, Tom, that bus is a door opener. It's an open door for everybody, because it's just about the music and the love and the peace. And it's one amazing reputation. Is incredible. So that really, really helped me in the process of going through before committing to buy the bus.
Wouldn't it be great if Netflix decide to make a documentary on the Peace Bus, the 1972 Wings tour bus bringing peace to America? Because we in Ireland, especially in the north, we took our inspiration in the early 60s from the great peace marches, the Bob Dylan accompanying Martin Luther King Jr. at the major rallies and all that, and we've spoken about this before. We took the inspiration from that and civil rights marches. And
yes,
now I think that America needs healing, and perhaps we, having come through, hopefully we're through it, the post-conflict experience that we've had, that we can perhaps return the compliment and take what we've learned from our conflict out to America. And there is no better way to drive that through America than on the 1972 Wings tour bus with Tom Jennings Creaven. I think you're an absolutely amazing man, Tom. I mean, I've always, you know, we're great friends. We have been for a long time, and I just think it is this, all of the things coming together, and the synchronicity of all of this happening. It's just fabulous, and I think you and I, even though we're not in the full bloom of youth, we're going to.
I'm approaching the magnificent 7th decade.
So am I. Well, we are the same age, but look, who knows? But you know, we could be rocking through the States again, and through Europe, and of course through Ireland, and bringing all the love that was there in '72. This is it's a big love bus, isn't it?
Yes, it's. I would like to think of it now, because of you, Steve. I would like to think of it now as the 1972 Wings Tour Bus of Peace.
Yeah. Well, we lost our bus in 1975. It looks like we're going to get a new bus.
Oh! Now that's the biggest compliment of all. That's the biggest compliment I've had today.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful, and a thrill to think of Fran and Tony and Brian, and how much fun they would have.
Well, they'll be on the bus with us, and so will Henry, and Linda, and all of these people. We won't be on our own on that bus, Tom.
Well, you know, Denny Seiwell, Denny Laine, I'm in contact with them, and excuse me, I'm getting a little bit emotional, as I do. We do keep Paul's office up to date with presentations And we've put together a presentation for the museums, and the FBHVC have booked the bus, pending restoration, for the classic car show at the NEC 2021, if she's ready, 2022, most certainly. And it's a very, very big privilege. And the Transport Museum in Withall, which is a really fabulous transport museum. We were up there a few weeks ago, and they want the bus for a year. And but the bus will, she will live again, and she has more stories to live and tell.
Tom, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, we've got www.1972wingstourbus.com. So it's facebook.com /1972wingstourbus /.
Tom, you're an amazing man, and give my love to Rose. I think there's a song in that there someplace.
There is. Yes.
God bless you, and as I say in Ireland, God bless the work.
Well,